It's Thursday morning. We're mixing up close-up feed right now. We're about to start mixing up close-up feed. This is day 2 that it's been raining. And rain total, I have no idea. It's a lot. Probably rained a lot last night too, so I don't know, somewhere 5 inches or more, 6 inches, I don't know. But this morning, as soon as we mixing up this close-up feed, we gotta go with the baby, or at least the one baby, and then we'll get some heifers in, and then when the vet's here at 9 o'clock, we'll start palpating heifers. So it's gonna be a busy morning. Well, all right, the herd check went really good, and off the top of my head, we palpated over 100 heifers, but off the top of my head, remembering from the last time that we palpated heifers and then what we got this time, it should be about 190, give or take a few, first-time heifers calving in this season. So between now, which we've already had like 5, but between now and March 1st, March 10th will be the last probably due date. We just finished mixing the last load. Obviously way behind because of the herd check. We had about an hour. Well, it rained most of the time, but we had about an hour that we waited because of some lightning. So a little bit behind. Got a couple things that we got to do. I got to go get the baby across the road, which would be the 4th one today. Still no parts for the feed wagon. We got new knives, new hitch, new conveyor shield, and the weigh bar that I'm waiting on. Waiting on the weigh bar so I can open the sorghum pile, because I don't know how much the sorghum's going to weigh. I know a bucket of grass weighs about 1,000 and a bucket of corn silage weighs about 2,000. And I don't know how much that's going to weigh, so we're waiting on the weigh bar to do that. And also, Wes talked to the service guy, and they're going to come tomorrow morning and fix the Puma 130. So hopefully tomorrow we get the feed wagon all squared away. Can't talk. This tractor sounds really good though for having 12,000 hours on it. Morning. It's Friday. It's raining. It looks like we got one baby there, and then there's 2 more just over there. So 3 today. Only 180 more days until calving season's over. Alright, well this morning ended up turning into this afternoon because we didn't get done with this morning until 2 o'clock, and actually I'm not even all the way completely done yet. I've had 2 more cows calve and a heifer calve, so I got 6 fresh cows today. But the 70-20 got its new tires put on the front there. Asco came out and they got the 130 going. So we unhooked the 7410 off the feed wagon, got the 130 all on, everything like that. Wes is filling his truck up with diesel right now to head to Sulphur Springs to get the parts for the feed wagon. They all came in. I still got a load of heifers and a load of milk cows to feed, and then we'll start working on the feed wagon. When the guy came out, well, he didn't come out to do the tires, but there was a slow leak on the wheel loader, the O-ring around the rim. I just told Wes about it, and then Wes ended up calling him, and he came out and he got that fixed, and then went ahead and did the tires on the 70-20. And then also about the same time, I blew a hose on the hydraulic line on the wheel loader. Oil went all over the windshield, all over the front of the wheel loader. We got that fixed, and it's all good now. But when we get down there, I'll show you which one busted. All right, so we blew the hose right here. It goes down in underneath that plate. As soon as it blew, it just blew all over the windshield, all over the front, and there goes my phone ringing. So like I was saying, the burner on the power washer is not working, and I tried to wash it as best I could. We're probably going to end up scrubbing it or trying to get the burner running when we have more time. But I was just pulling in to hook the bucket back up after taking the fork off, and that's when it blew. So blew right in front of the bay of the soybean mill and the mineral. Antonio's over there, he's getting it all cleaned up for us, and we're back into action now. I got 2 loads of feed to mix, and then we're gonna be working on the feed wagon after that. It's trying to rain again, and the milk collar broke down right here in the middle of the driveway. He thinks he's out of diesel, but he says he's not out of diesel. So one of the trucking company's mechanics are on their way, I guess is what he said. So anyway, blocking the driveway though. Alright, we fed the heifers, and then while feeding the heifers, or almost at the end of feeding the heifers, we gotta add the AdBlue def code or whatever, saying that it was poor quality. And then the stop light came up on the dash, or whatever you want to call it, and it said, so the tractor ended up derating. And then after, actually I went to go unhook it is what I was going to do, and I shut the tractor off, started it back up, and it was all clear and full power and ready to go. So came down here and mixed up the load of milk cow feed. And when I was moving it from the commodity barn, or actually moving it from the water and molasses out here to the silage pile, it popped up again and it's saying stop right now. And I think what I've been told, I guess we'll find out when we get in the cab, as long as the PTO is running, it won't derate. It kind of sounds like it's not running at a low RPM right now, which is not the 1300, it derated, it went down to 1600 a while ago, so I don't know. Talked to ASCO, and they ordered a sensor to go in the def tank, and it's either the sensor or it's actually poor quality. I don't know. I don't know why it would be poor quality, other than it could have been sweating from all the humidity and sitting there for a week and a half. Let's see. No, we are derated down to 1600 RPM. So I guess it ain't gonna matter if I turn the PTO off and drive to the commodity barn. I was gonna try to figure out how to leave it on the whole time, but see on the screen here you got stop, poor def quality, which is a load of crap. Wes just got back with the parts for the feed for the feed wagon, so I guess when I get done putting out feed, we're gonna go up there and then make a decision, either go ahead and unhook it or pour some def in it and see if that clears itself, which I highly doubt, or have to wait till Tuesday and the guy come back out and put a sensor in. So maybe hooking the 7410 back up here in just a second. Well, I just ran this side off, and I am derated down to 1300 RPM, which is like torture. Trying to run a loaded feed wagon and drive. At least I was going downhill on the feed lane with 1300 RPM. So I'm gonna try. I gotta stop and open this gate because the girl who scrapes the feed lane is not very courtesy to the guy who puts out feed, and she left the gates closed on me. So I'm gonna get out and open the gates, and then I'm gonna shut the tractor off, give it a second, and see if it'll clear itself long enough for me to run the last half of the feed off, and then I'll clean the feed wagon out, and then that way I can get in it to put knives on it, and then we'll make a decision here in a second. I got three options: unhook this, put 7410 back on, drain the def fluid tank and put a new jug of def fluid in and see if it clears itself, or add on to the already half a tank and see if that clears itself. And if it doesn't, then we waste all that def fluid, because they'll drain the tank to put the sensor in that they think is what's wrong. So yeah, well, it worked. We're at full power right now. Feel it? Oh yeah. And so that worked. Got the feed put out, got the feed wagon cleaned out. We'll head up to the shop, the little shop, not the big shop, the little shop. And I don't know, we may end up taking over the big shop. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get over there and see what we're going to do. It's already 5 o'clock. I should have had this load put out before noon. That's how today's gone. It's 5:06 right now. And I should have, noonish, had this load out, went to lunch, been happy, went on with the rest of my day. But yeah. So, see what we can get done. And it's going to be dark in 2.5 hours. And it's trying to rain again. So, we'll see what happens. Alright, we decided to drain the def fluid, which goes in here next to the diesel tank. And obviously some grass and stuff fell in the bucket, but it is kind of a brownish color. The buckets were clean, but underneath there is a little dirty, so I could have dropped some dirt in, but I don't know how you tell if it's good or bad. I don't know. Wes is going to town to get some new def to put in it, and then a lot of trial and error. This isn't your typical weigh bar situation, but we've narrowed it down to the second one, and that's the one that we believe that is out or not working. So we got to go through all these wires, get it untangled, follow it back to which one it is, which the wires run underneath the feed wagon, and then we'll figure out which one it is for sure, get it out, put a new one in, probably end up trying it out in the morning and see how it works, and then hopefully the tractor with a new def won't derate, and then we'll find out in the morning, probably halfway through the first load, if it derates or not. And if it does, then we'll just have to unhook it and park it, and then it's going to be that sensor that they were talking about, and it's going to sit till Tuesday in the 7410, which hasn't even moved since I unhooked it earlier. We'll go back on the wagon. So it'll be dark here pretty soon, so we'll just see you in the morning and let you know how it turns out. Well, it's a little after 12:30 Saturday afternoon. So far this morning we've had 5 babies. I just had to stop while ago and go pull the 5th calf of today. It's tried to rain a couple times on and off. The sun's kind of trying to pop out, which when the sun comes out, it feels like we're going to boil to death. It's so humid and sauna. Feels like a sauna. The sun's starting to pop out over there. A little blue sky starting to show. So this will be the 4th day that it's at least rained some in the morning. I think we're done with the rain for a few days, and then it's supposed to come back early next week. But today we got Wes. He's gone to Oklahoma, to Paul's Valley, to get another load of the alfalfa that was wrapped in plastic. It's like 80% dry matter. It was just had enough moisture to ferment, and it's actually some pretty good stuff. So he went to get a load of that in the newer Freightliner. He left about 9 o'clock, so he should be back 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon, and then we'll get that unloaded. But so far this morning I've had some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is that draining the def fluid tank on this case 130 and putting a jug of fresh def in it has so far seemed to have fixed it. I haven't derated, I haven't had any alarms or anything like that saying bad quality def. Only one I got right now is saying that the level's low and that I need to add some. But we only put a 2.5 gallon jug in it just to try it out and see if that would work. We didn't want to put any more than that and then have it ended up getting wasted when they came and put the new sensor in, which they had to order the sensor, and they said they'd be here Tuesday to put it in. So we got the rest of today, which I'm feeding the last load right now, and then we got tomorrow and Monday to make sure that that's what fixed it. We're gonna have to probably go get another jug to put in it till then, but yeah, so far it's run 3 or 4 hours. Has been shut off and started up 5 or 6 times today and hasn't had any issue at all. Bad news is that we worked on the feed wagon till about 9:30 last night. We put a new weigh bar in it. We spent about an hour trying to figure out which weigh bar was messed up. Narrowed it down to one that was a little bit off than the rest, and yeah, we got done about 9:30 last night and it didn't do anything. It's still acting the exact same. So either we had 2 weigh bars out, or it wasn't a weigh bar at all, and it is something else. I have a feeding app. That's what this tablet is here, and I got a little scale. All it is basically a board that hooks into the leads and goes into the scale head. There, I just disconnected it. I've tried it a couple times already, but I disconnected and actually mixed the load without it. And that's not the problem. What that is called Milk Group, MILC Group. It's a app-based, or it's an app, feeding app that's cloud-based. I've had it for about a year now. Really like it, works good, but that thing seems to be okay. So it's either another weigh bar or it is the J box, the junction box that all the scales, or not all the scales, all the weigh bars plug in and go from there to the scale head. So it's either one of those. It's the only thing it can be. Not 100% sure yet. We'll probably end up messing with it some more this afternoon, trying to get it to work. But that's my good news and bad news. Tractor seems to be okay. Bad news is feed wagon's still screwed. So we didn't get a chance to work on the knives or the one conveyor shield. We'll more importantly get the scales working correctly first. But like I said, when Wes gets back, we'll have to unload that hay. I want to try to work some heifers this afternoon, so we'll just see how all that works out. And then also I want to work on the speed wagon too. So anyway, we're gonna finish running this load off, go get some lunch, and we'll get back this afternoon.